No matter how you slice it or cut it, whether you're doing a policy or you're standing up for something you believe in, it's going to offend someone and someone's not going to like it. But I wanted to create this video to give different perspectives on different views. Not only give a yes or no, but give an explanation about it. Are we going to find a solution? Most likely, probably not. But to understand another party and be open-minded and hear what they have to say only points us in the right direction.
Breaking news right now, the NFL, the National Football League, making a drastic change in league policy over those player protests. In a statement issued just a short time ago, the NFL outlined the policy, which now states in part, all team and league personnel on the field shall stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. Personnel who choose not to stand for the anthem may stay in the locker room or in a similar location off the field until after the anthem has been performed.
Hello everyone, my name is Gus O'Philly and I'm a real estate agent around the greater Bangalore area. I put this piece together to inform people about the NFL's newest policy and also for a crowd to have a platform to exercise their opinion. I recruited outspoken individuals from different backgrounds, upbringings, and social views to voice their opinions on this topic. Let me have them introduce themselves to you today.
Hello, my name is Bevelyn Beatty and I am located here in Belfast, Maine. You can reach me on Facebook at Bevelyn Beatty. My business page and my personal page is up there. That's BEVELYN BEATTY. I am now running as the primary candidate for the Republican State Representative seat, District 97. And I also own a non-for-profit organization, which is a ministry. And yeah, that's what I do. And so, I'm excited to be speaking about what's going on with the NFL because I believe it's important for people to understand different cultures' perspectives on why this is happening and whether I agree with it or not. And to be honest with you, I'm excited to get talking about it because I think it's important. I've been fussing about it, so finally I got a platform to talk about it. So I got a lot to say.
Where I'm going to be answering some of the questions today that have been provided regarding the NFL protests. I'm a native of Florida and a United States Air Force veteran. So get on with the questions.
What's going on, guys? My name is James Dobson. I am a YouTuber, a vlogger, a video creator, and I am here to answer some of these awesome questions that Gus has come up with. My channel is The Real JD Squad. That is The Real JD Squad. And I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and I am on Facebook. So if you guys get a chance, please head over and like Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube page. So let me go ahead and answer some of these questions for you guys.
Hey guys, it's Brian Lackey over here at Darling's Honda Nissan Volvo in Bangor, Maine. If you don't know me, I'm one of the business managers over here. My buddy Gus reached out to me a couple days ago, and he wanted me to touch base on him on how I feel about the NFL's new rule.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Reed DeRost, also known as DJ Reed to some of you. Gus has asked me to put together some answers for these questions, and I think it's going to be a really good conversation. It's people that aren't actually involved in the league but have a vested interest. We watch football, and a lot of this kind of hits close to home with some of the stuff that's going on. You can find me on Twitter at Reed DeRost. I also have a kind of a little bit of a stupid gaming channel called Piss Poor Gaming on Twitch and YouTube. You can find us there. So here we go.
What's up, everybody? My name is Dr. Brett Jones. I'm currently the owner and founder of The Source Chiropractic here in Oakland, California. I grew up in Southern California, and you can find me on social media by using at Dr. Brett Jones on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram.
The revision allows players who would not wish to stand to remain in the locker room. Also under the revision, each franchise will have the power to issue their own policies, which could include fines for players protesting the anthem under the conduct detrimental provision of the league's personal conduct policy. So basically, while the anthem is playing and you are employed, you must stand and show respect to the flag. If you don't, you'll get fined. As we see, this is a big change from what we've seen from the NFL in the past.
I think the NFL's ruling is a little bit short-sighted whenever you kind of look at the way it's being handled. These are very clearly issues that matter to a lot of the players and matter to a lot of the fans of the players. But I think given the political climate that we have right now, you're trying to appeal to a side that can sometimes come off as a little bit where they just can't understand a lot of the issues that don't happen within their own bubble. So it might appear that it's going to look good for a certain subset of people, but not for a lot of the viewers that are coming into the NFL, especially when you're talking about dealing with younger crowds.
As a player, I used to play, and I think as a person that has military in my family and that respects the country and the flag, my opinion on this is that they're doing this so that they can basically get back to football, and they're having people really focus more again on the game and not as much on the kneeling aspect of it. So my overall feeling on it is that it's a good rule to put in place for what they're trying to do and accomplish, which is to focus more again on football.
Well, let's just cut to the chase. I'm not even going to try to talk nice. Let's just cut to the chase. At the end of the day, when these men signed up to be in the NFL, I can guarantee you, not to be funny, but their sport agent was probably white. And I'm pretty sure that the white people that they sat at the table with to sign that contract to get that check, they wasn't complaining then. So now you get in the NFL, you got a platform, and you use it to send negativity based on, racial inequality and police brutality. This is my thing. If you feel so strong about it, go out in the streets and teach your people how to not be so violent with their own before you expect others to respect them. And I say this all the time. I say this with Black Lives Matter. I say this with any organization, especially when it comes to aiding to African Americans. If you cannot go out into your community and help first, you can't expect other people to respect your community. It's like you're telling other people of other races to do your job. And this is the thing.
Personally, I feel a little mixed about it. There's definitely part of me that is continually frustrated when it seems to be that no matter what way minorities tend to have peaceful protest, that there seems to be some route that shuts them down or tries to enforce something against them. And so that's the frustration. On the other side of it, I do understand from an NFL owner or an NFL perspective that you want to monitor certain behavioral things. Now, I do think that this particular issue is more complex than it seems. Yet I understand, for instance, like
when you signed up to be a football player, you knew what came with that job. When I sign up to be a clerk, I know what my position is. I'm a clerk and I do my job and I respect the company that I'm working for. So how is it that you are working for America, playing football to entertain America, but yet you have the audacity to kneel or to show disrespect to the American anthem when they the ones paying you? It's the American people that's coming to see you. It's the American people that is the reason why you're able to cut a check in the first place, and you don't want to show some type of pride for your country. Regardless of how you feel about your country, baby, you in it, so you need to respect it. So I agree with the rule 1,000%.
I think the NFL botched it. I think they did a piss poor job, no pun intended, that they just did an awful job with this, because the narrative about kneeling, not the narrative for why they were protesting, but the narrative of people being so angry that guys in the NFL, these whiny millionaires, which I think that's couldn't be further from the truth. This whole everyone being pissed off about guys kneeling during the anthem, that whole narrative and debate and people being outraged was dying down. It was almost a non-issue. And now the NFL itself has brought this back up. They've made it even worse, because now instead of getting an ESPN app update at 1:15 when the games start on Sundays about who's kneeling, Now we're just going to get updates about, oh, who stayed in the locker room? Who cares?
Well, it's a freedom of speech movement. You know, if you are standing up for something you believe in, and it's not hurting anybody to do so, then do it. But I also believe in respect. So, you know, I believe that we should be doing it respectfully. I don't think that kneeling during the national anthem is as disrespectful as people make it out to be. I think that there are a lot worse things that we could be worrying about, but that's how it is.
Let's dig into Colin Kaepernick for a minute. The former Super Bowl starting quarterback's decision to go public comes while he was fighting for his football life with the 49ers, who drafted him in the second round in 2011. He lost his starting job in 2015 after being one of the most promising players in the NFL during his run under former coach Jim Harbaugh. Over the last few months with the 49ers, his relationship with management team started to go sour. He requested a trade, which never came. He also spent most of the 2016 offseason rehabbing from operations to his left shoulder, his knee, and to his throwing arm. Let's really get into things. Several players last season followed the footsteps of former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who in the previous years chose to kneel during the national anthem as a form of protest against police brutality and racial inequality. By the start of 2017 season, there were only a handful of protests during the anthem. Then last September rally, President Trump referred to a player who protested social injustice by kneeling during the national anthem as, now these are his words, a son of a bitch.
We celebrated Wilma Rudolph, Althea Gibson. We celebrated those athletes who were taking a stand and who were doing a righteous thing by identifying with the vulnerable people. And I think Colin Kaepernick brought that back. Yeah, he pissed some people off. He engendered some controversy. But what he was really trying to force us to do is to have a conversation about who is American, what gets to count as American, and am I being un-American?
It greatly impacts it. And I think down the road too, it really, again, going to the next question, it really is going to distance, and it has distanced a lot of owners and players from each other. And you see this a lot in a lot of sports. And there's always various topics and things that come up. But I think, yes, it will right now. It'll separate the owners and the players and some of the coaches as well, and even some of the players from players. But I think, again, going back to it, like the other question, the last question, longevity-wise, it's going to be a good thing, and everybody's going to grow from this.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because the one way that you were able to do it without saying anything, without trying to piss people off, has now been taken away from you. And I have to think on just about every NFL team, the relationship between owner and player couldn't be further away as it is.
It depends, because you know there's also behavior modification on you know what's to be said during interviews or not said. So you know, does the player really have a voice if they want to play on that team? You know, it's going to come to the rules and the regulations that the owner provides, and then you know that's the cost of the contract, right? So if you're getting paid to do something, there's certain rules and standards, just like any job. Unfortunately, like I said, you know the frustration is, you know, when fighting for human rights and civil rights and equality, you would like to see support.
I think in some instances it's going to, depending on which team, but I think, you know, like for instance, the Eagles, they're sticking behind their players, and I think that's huge, you know. The players are the meat and potatoes. I mean, working in a business here, what I notice is without good workers, good quality workers here, we can't run a business.
Oh, it does not knock their freedom of speech. We deal with it every day. You can't go to McDonald's and curse somebody out because you feel like it. That might be your freedom of speech because the customer tripping. But can you do it? No, you cannot, because you signed up to work at McDonald's. You got a job to do. So rather than you trying to exercise your freedom of speech at your job, baby, you work for somebody else. If you feel that important about it, if it's that strongly on your heart, if it's that strongly on you to do it, then quit the NFL, go start your own little business, go advocate, go do what Kaepernick, whatever his name did.
In taking away that voice, you're going to make these athletes more vocal. They're going to actually use their press conferences, they're going to be using their social media to actually make their points. And I think that's actually going to hurt it's going to hurt the relationship with their owners, because the owners tend to be these multi-billion-dollar owners who don't have an understanding of a lot of these issues that the athletes are bringing up.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. This is how I feel about homeboy. I do think he go out and he help and he does his little thing. But Kaepernick is half black, half white, okay? Let me tell you something right now. When you dealing with certain mixed kids, they be going through an identity crisis. So they feel like they gotta pick sides. Maybe they gotta be more black, or maybe they gotta be more white. I feel like he on that side, he feel like he gotta be more black, because he like pressing issues beyond what they really need to be pressed.
So I wanted to get a quote from one of our veterans. His name is Brian Sullivan of Plymouth, a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel. He said, "It brings a tear to my eye whenever I watch NFL players kneeling. There's enough division in our country, don't bring it to sports. We have a few guys who are hard-nosed and they don't like it. The people who served in Vietnam, a lot of them came back and nobody said thank you. They weren't accepted, and they see this as another form of rejection."
Everybody had an opinion about this thing. People were upset. People were, on his team, against him. It was like it became this very two-sided, divisive issue, like everything is becoming in our country right now, very sadly. And I just wanted to listen to the guy, hear him out, have a conversation, try to find a way that together, even though we disagreed. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm defending somebody that I disagree with because I support the rights.
President Donald Trump has been very vocal against these protests. Trump called the NFL owners to fire players who engage in such a protest. During 2017, multiple series of tweets reiterating his views and calling for a fan boycott of games. On November 24, 2017, he tweeted, "Can you believe that the disrespect for our country, our flag, our anthem continues without penalty to these players? The commissioner has lost control of this hemorrhaging league. Players are the boss."
Your friend, Robert Kraft, said he was disappointed by what you said on Friday.
Well, that's okay. Look, he has to take his ideas and go with what he wants. I think it's very disrespectful to our country. I think it's very, very disrespectful to our flag. I like Bob very much. He's my friend, but he gave me a Super Bowl ring a month ago, right? So he's a good friend of mine, and I want him to do what he wants to do, but we have a great country. We have great people representing our country, especially our soldiers, our first responders, and they should be treated with respect.
It impacts the NFL in a positive way because I'm a patriot. I love my country. I love where I come from. I would not step foot in a game.
For right now, it might seem like it's a minor victory for the NFL, especially if it will get some of the pressure taken off of them and a lot of the public. But I think that the long-term damage might be the thing that they'll need to actually consider. So the ratings might not be affected so much now, but if you've hurt your brand in the long run, that's where you might actually find that later on you're going to start to feel the hurt.
From an owner's perspective, I can't really answer that because I've never owned an NFL team, so I'm not going to go down that road. But
They voted on this. They set this forward. They made this a debate again for all the wrong reasons. And now they're just thinking bottom line. They're thinking money. They want to keep making money hand over fist. And the owners knelt at the feet of President Trump.
Anytime you're dealing with behavior modification, you're gonna get blowback. It's gonna cause some distrust and disconnection between you and your potential team. because this is something obviously that's getting enforced and put in play that wasn't voted by the team. So I think you're going to run into some issues just with actual relationship, and probably within a few months it'll blow over, because the people that want to pay, get paid to play, I mean, they're going to do what they need to do, right?
Realistically, for me, I think that it impacts the NFL and the teams and the ratings. That stuff has already happened. That's already happened. When it first happened with Colin Kaepernick, he kneeled. That's when the ratings changed. That's when people saw the differences. But in terms of how it's going to impact the players and the teams, I don't think it's really going to. And the reason being is these people that want to do it still, the team will stick up for them. And if they don't, they'll find a way to get on another team. They'll do whatever they can, or their fans will pay for this fine.
At the end of the day. And so this will be something, and players losing a privilege, but this won't be the first privilege they've lost along the journey. People will get over it. They'll move forward, and like I said, they'll find another way to have peaceful protest. And then, like I said, there comes back my frustration, because what tends to happen is you find another way, and then that way is not right either.
But all jokes aside, if I wanted to go and watch an NFL game, I'm going to be more reluctant because of the disrespect. And I feel as an African-American woman, it's embarrassing to me to watch these fellow men who are ungrateful, get on their knee and show disrespect to America, knowing the blessing that they have. Let me tell you something. I've been to Africa, baby. Okay? And it ain't no joke in Africa. And you think you got it bad here? You ain't seen nothing yet.
I want to thank everyone who listened to this video and watched it. I do appreciate it, and it's been nothing but my pleasure. Thank you.